This is the case of 22-year-old Jasmine Pace, a young woman full of potential whose life ended far too soon. Just days before Thanksgiving in 2022, she vanished. What followed was a chilling deception. Someone used her phone to convince her loved ones she was still alive. But something was very wrong. The night before Thanksgiving, Jasmine left her mother's home in Chattanooga, Tennessee, around 11:30 p.m. She had planned to spend the holiday with family. Hours later, her mother received a text saying Jasmine was with a friend named Emma and would stay there for the week. The message felt odd, but not impossible. Jasmine had been quietly grieving the recent loss of her grandmother and sometimes preferred solitude. However, that unease turned to alarm when a post appeared on Jasmine's Facebook. The caption read, "Enjoying Thanksgiving with my baby," alongside a photo. The problem? The photo was old. Jasmine's unique tattoos, symbols of her life's journey, were missing. Her father immediately recognized this wasn't recent. Someone else was pretending to be her. Calls were made. Emma confirmed Jasmine wasn't at her place and hadn't even been in touch. Other friends received similar vague messages from Jasmine's number, but no one had actually spoken to her. Using a car tracking app, Jasmine's family found her white Chevy Equinox parked at a condominium complex on Mountain Creek Road. It had been days since her last sighting. The driver's seat was pushed far back, too far for someone of Jasmine's small height. Local police were called, but without clear signs of danger, and because Jasmine was an adult, there was little urgency. Determined to find answers, the family knocked on doors. A security guard allowed access to camera footage. It showed Jasmine's car arriving on November 23rd around 8:30 p.m., but the driver wasn't clearly visible. One disturbing clue was a missed message on Jasmine's mom's phone. Just a location pin sent at 2:18 a.m. on the 23rd. No words, only coordinates. The pin led to an apartment complex at 110 Tremont Street. All doors answered except one, Unit 210. Neighbors recalled loud noises around 2:15 a.m. coming from that unit. Eventually, inside apartment 210, Jasmine's belongings were found. Her ID, her credit cards, her bag. Cleaning supplies were scattered across the floor. The tenant's name on a notebook near the door, Jason Chen. Jason, a fellow 22-year-old, was a computer science student at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. He and Jasmine had met through a dating app. Her family had never met him. Police were called again, but once more left without searching deeply. Later that night, the apartment was revisited. Important items were collected: a camera, phones, an iPad, anything that might explain what happened. Just before midnight, police returned with a search warrant. What they found was horrifying. Blood was discovered on the floor, bathroom walls, and bedroom carpet. A kitchen knife lay on the bed. Furniture marks showed signs of a struggle. In a nearby dumpster, white sneakers and blue pants were recovered. Investigators sprayed luminol throughout the apartment. Blood trails lit up everywhere. This was no longer a missing person case. It was a homicide. Surveillance footage told more of the story. On November 23rd, Jason Chen appeared on camera at Walmart, buying peroxide, paper towels, Band-Aids, and cleaning products. At self-checkout, he tried to disguise expensive items as vegetables. Later, he stopped at Walgreens. That evening, he was seen carrying a large suitcase out of his apartment. His black Toyota Camry left soon after. On November 29th, police located Jason at his parents' home in Nolanville. His hands and feet were injured, likely signs of a struggle. In his bedroom, detectives found a handwritten script, lines he seemed to be rehearsing for police. He claimed Jasmine had run away, had mental health struggles, and had an issue with a former partner. In her backpack, his SIM card was found. Using phone data, investigators retraced Jasmine's final path. Her phone had gone with Jason to Walmart, then later toward a remote area near Suck Creek Road. On December 1st, near a riverbank, officers discovered a suitcase. Inside was Jasmine's body, wrapped in trash bags, shackled in a disturbing way. Two different types of handcuffs bound her limbs. She had been stabbed more than 60 times, mainly in the chest. One knife blade was still embedded in her body. In January 2025, Jason Chen stood trial. His legal team admitted to the killing, but called it voluntary manslaughter. The claim that Jasmine had become violent after discovering dating app messages, and he acted out of fear. But that defense began to crumble. Medical experts explained that Jasmine had been restrained during the attack. Her lack of defensive wounds and the handcuff marks proved she was unable to fight back. A digital expert revealed there were no Tinder messages that day. Toxicology reports showed she hadn't even consumed alcohol, contradicting Jason's story. The defense attempted to cast doubt on the investigation by pointing to possible contamination of the crime scene. They highlighted the fact that Jasmine's mother had entered the apartment before law enforcement obtained a search warrant, potentially disturbing evidence. After her death, Jasmine's phone didn't fall silent. It was used to post misleading social media updates designed to make it seem as though she was still alive. Financial apps were accessed, and someone even used her profile to interact with other women. In one chilling message, sent through a dating app, a woman received the words, "I guess we're dating now." These weren't the actions of someone overwhelmed by panic. They were the moves of a person carefully covering their tracks. Even more disturbing was the normalcy that followed. The same night Jasmine was already gone, Jason Chen joined his friends online to play Call of Duty. He casually mentioned he needed to finish cleaning his apartment first, a haunting understatement considering what had taken place just hours earlier. There was no sign of remorse, panic, or grief, just a return to routine, as if nothing had happened. That eerie calm only deepened the sense of calculation behind the crime. When the trial reached its final stage, the jury wasted little time. After reviewing the evidence, deliberations took less than an hour. The facts were undeniable, the story too consistent, and the digital footprints too clear. The courtroom fell silent as the verdict was read aloud, a single sentence delivering justice after weeks of testimony and months of grief. Jason Chen was officially found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. It was a verdict that echoed the brutality of the crime and honored the life that had been taken so violently. The judgment marked the end of a painful journey for Jasmine's family, but it also served as a reminder that behind every courtroom decision lies a story of loss, resilience, and the pursuit of truth. During sentencing, emotion filled the courtroom as Jason Chen's mother stood before the judge, her voice breaking with grief. Through tears, she pleaded for mercy, not to excuse what had happened, but to ask that her son be given a chance to rebuild his life someday. Her words painted a picture of the boy she once knew, a version of Jason that seemed far removed from the man standing trial. She begged for a future beyond prison walls, even if it came decades later. His defense attorney supported the appeal for compassion, arguing that even those who commit terrible acts should not be forever denied hope. He proposed that Jason be given the opportunity for redemption when he reached an old age, perhaps at 73, when life had already run its course. The message was clear. Mistakes, no matter how grave, shouldn't eliminate the possibility of change. However, the jury remained unmoved by these emotional pleas. To them, the facts were undeniable. The prosecution emphasized the severity of the violence, the efforts to deceive others afterward, and the chilling calm that followed the act. Jasmine had been restrained, stabbed repeatedly, and discarded like she meant nothing. These were not the actions of someone who lost control in a moment of fear. They were the calculated steps of someone who planned to erase her. In the end, the court handed down the harshest sentence possible: life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. There would be no second chance. Jason Chen would spend the rest of his life behind bars, a consequence that reflected both the nature of the crime and the permanent loss suffered by Jasmine's family. After the trial, Jasmine's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Jason's parents, claiming they aided him during the time he was evading justice. The pain of her loss rippled through everyone who knew her. Jasmine, known affectionately as Jazzy, was remembered as a loving soul with dreams of motherhood, a deep bond with her 4 cats, and unwavering loyalty to those she cared about. Her life ended in tragedy, but her legacy lives on, not through the cruelty of her final moments, but through the warmth, kindness and strength she shared with the world. This was the story of Jasmine Pace. Stay safe. Until next time.